Today is September 13, 2024. My name is Charles Suter. Today I'm presenting part 3 of my series, Overcoming Addiction, with a focus on motivation. Now you can see here I have a little flow diagram of the process, but before I get into that, I'd like to give you a little bit of an introduction. Most people know what to do about their unhealthy habits and addictions, but they just fail to change due to the chemical dependency that the addiction has over them. Addicts have deluded themselves into thinking that they want their addictions for such rationalizations as pleasures, helps them socialize better, overcomes their stress, it gives them a sense of identity. But the real reason for clinging to their addiction is the fear of the pain of withdrawal and the loss of self-esteem if they fail. This presentation is going to explain how to overcome an addiction by following a structured process that prepares the addict in advance to handle the withdrawal process. Most people are looking for an easy way to do something that is really hard, and when they can't find one, they give up trying to get clean. Overcoming an addiction, especially one that has been in use for many years, will be difficult but not impossible. The self-help process for overcoming an addiction is intended to prepare the addict to handle the pain of withdrawal, so they only have to do it once and it's done. The process consists of 5 major steps as shown in the diagram above. Okay, step number 1. It's based upon A, getting accurate information about your addiction or the addiction, dispelling the rationalizations that addicts normally cling to justify their addiction so as to avoid the pain of withdrawal, and B, rational reasons to support change. Step number 2, commitment. It's developing a sufficiently high motivation to seriously commit to change linked to personal high-level values. Step number 3, belief. Developing the belief that if you make the recommended preparations followed by a heartfelt effort, you will succeed. Building belief is very, very critical to the process. Step number 4, developing some supportive routines or healthy substitutes to help minimize the pain of withdrawal and to handle temptations to return to the addictive behaviors after withdrawal. Finally, step number 5. This is where you go through the withdrawal process, and because if you abstain for a long enough time, somewhere in the range of 21 to 30 days, the discomfort of withdrawal will diminish to the point where you can handle any flare-ups of temptation, such as this one. I'm just going to indulge one more time for old time's sake and to prove that I'm in control. That's the one that will get you. Each of these 5 process steps will be discussed on a separate presentation in the weeks to come. I urge you to listen to all 5 if you're struggling with an addiction that is negatively impacting your life now and has serious long-term health impacts over the years to come. Proposition 1. Accurate information provides rational reasons to change. Addictions are a response to an overwhelming chemical urge that are difficult or if impossible to resist. Now most people know what they should do, but they're slaves to their chemical dependency. When the urge hits them hard, they're ready to indulge. Addicts have convinced themselves, however, with rationalizations not to change. If you don't know the long-term impact of your addiction on your health and mental well-being, you ought to make it an effort to find out. So step number 1 is gathering information of the pros and cons of your addiction so you can make an informed decision. Now realistically, there aren't any rational pros. Abusing your body is never a good thing, especially when abusing your body infects your life in many sundry ways. All the pros are based on rationalizations to help the addict to feel better about himself as he stays addicted so he can avoid the pain of withdrawal process. But even dispelling the mythical, irrational pros of addiction, accurate, rational information alone is not going to be enough to motivate a person to change. especially if one is dealing with an emotional and physical dependency that cause severely painful withdrawal symptoms. Most people are not mentally equipped to handle pain and discomfort at this level. Something much more than information is needed to overcome the fear of a painful withdrawal period. Proposition number 2. Motivation to change depends upon trade-off of benefits and liabilities. Well, the basic liability is that you have to go through the withdrawal process. Everything else is benefits. Your long-term health is the prime reason to change. And any short-term pleasures that you think you're getting are only based upon relief from the pain due to chemical dependency. Addicts will do anything to rationalize false reasons, such as pleasures, to continue their addictive habits. The successful motivation to change comes from building the emotional will to do what must be done to reach abstinence. The emotional power of the benefits to becoming clean and sober must be so overwhelming so as the addict is willing to withstand the physical and psychological rigors and discomforts of withdrawal. This is the hardest part of the process, no doubt. Finding the emotional resolve to do what the addict knows he must do, but currently lacks the will to do it. The human drive to continue one's life without interruption and pain-free is so strong that even knowledge that one is doing long-term damage to their life is insufficient to change behavior. And then another one of the addicts' rationalizations is that, well, maybe those long-term consequences won't happen to me. Maybe I'll get lucky. Don't count on it. Proposition 3. Accepting reality and belief in success will lead an addict's desire to change. Accepting reality and belief in success. Information is insufficient to motivate a change, especially when you're involved with an emotional chemical dependency. Only emotional appeals for quitting are strong enough than simply rational appeals. It's got to be heart over mind. The only way to change is to develop strong emotional reasons for changing. To overcome your addiction, you must find emotionally laden reasons to combat your addiction and to prepare yourself sufficiently so that you're ready to willingly undergo the pain and discomfort of weaning yourself off the chemical dependency. The will to abstinence must be developed as part of the 5-step process of overcoming an addiction. Enlightenment, motivation, and commitment must be built from scratch, starting with simple information, which will eventually lead to motivation and belief in success, based on the strong desire to create a better future for yourself. So if you don't have a desire for a better future for yourself, then you need to start gathering some more information and start this process. Only by braving the pain of withdrawal to reach abstinence can anyone ever hope to overcome his addiction completely. Now, my final message. Information and motivation must trigger a strong emotional desire to change. So if you want to overcome your addiction, you must find a process, such as this one, that you have faith and confidence in that will work for you. A process you'd be willing to follow to completion. The process of overcoming an addiction offered in this series of presentations is one such process. If followed, it will work for you because the process will prepare you to handle the discomfort of the withdrawal before you start. So when you're prepared, you can do anything. If you have to follow the process steps, one step at a time, until you reach step 5, whereupon you will have developed sufficient mental and emotional resolve to do what has to be done. The willingness to commit and do, which is to abandon the behaviors to which the addiction is dependent. Now, the next 4 presentations will take you through the other 4 steps of the process, and eventually you're going to reach a point where you're ready to go for abstinence. Well, that's all for now. Remember to stay positive. You'll be happier, healthier, and live longer.